Rising great people, Grand Rising great people. As you're joining, please make sure that you like. Let's be intentional about liking. We want as many people in the building as possible. Get those likes out so we can start with the algorithm. We got a lot to talk about. Glabo, what's the word, man? How's it going?
Man, it's good, man. I feel today gonna be a great day. I don't know about you, but I can feel it. Just something about me woke up a little extra early without the alarm clock. It's up. It's up today.
Oh, I like that. How everybody should wake up like that.
Yeah.
That's the energy that when we're going on and talk on these tours, talking to these youngins, these kids at the schools. You know, waking up is important. How you feel when you wake up, because it sets your intentions for the day.
Absolutely.
It's almost like practice, man. You know, some days you heading out to practice, like, man, I don't feel like being here. It's probably not going to be a great practice, but I always envy those guys that were just excited about.
Always smiling.
Yeah, like just excited about practice. Like, bro, we about to run.
Yeah.
Like, what you excited about? Like,
it's 4 a.m., man. Chill out.
man. Shout out to everybody tapping in early.
Sure.
Shout out to Finn. Good morning. Hope everyone is blessed. Shout out to Big Bro Steve in the building. Good morning and afternoon, depending on your geography. That is very true. We got Vancouver Island here, and it's still dark out. Cheers. Shout out to you. We got leading for the north. I like that. I like that. Leading for the north.
Yeah, further north. Yeah.
Shout out to OG in the building. Vaughn said morning, but who is Thomas? Well, we finna find out. Glabo, morning, like and subscribe, y'all.
Yes, sir.
It's the black guy in the corner. Yo, that jump be getting me amped, man. When like, yo, that thing started off as something. I was like, bro, stop saying that. Y'all think that's funny? Black guy in the corner. I bet. Watch what we do. Well, good morning, Grand Rising, everybody. Shout out to Unk in the building.
Big Unk.
Like, share, and subscribe. Class in session. What's the word, Unk? How's everything going? Finn tapping in early. It's good when the team is tapping in early. I'm just waking up to you. Hold on, let me run that back. I'm just waking up to you. What else can make my day better? I wouldn't know who Nick is if it wasn't for this channel. We tapping in. Make sure we give Nick that energy, man. We got to get this interview with Nick. We're gonna get this interview with Nick, and we'll see how that goes. That would be dope to get Nick on the network. Be able to share some of his ideas, go back and forth, see exactly what his plans are moving forward. But shout out to Phyllis. Good morning, people from San Diego. Shout out to you. All right, so let's make sure that we're getting the likes going. That's going to be helpful. All right, so what we got on the schedule? We definitely going to get into that Thomas Crooks. We didn't get into that. I wanted to show a video of them trying to press Trump. They tried to press Trump to disavow Tucker Carlson, and he wasn't going for it. And just an example of, I swear, man, when it comes to the Israel propaganda, it really is the gift that just keeps on giving. Because I'm not looking for this stuff, but maybe it is the algorithm. The algorithm just knows, man. Feed him something about Israel. He gonna discuss it. He gonna stay on it on his phone. But yeah, we got a bunch of stuff. Then we got Mark Levin as well. But I'm assuming that the video with Tucker is going to take us a little bit to get through. And a lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are saying how this exposes a lot with our government. It makes us wonder about the previous cover-ups that have happened in the past, whether it's the MLK, whether it's the JFK. A lot of these mysterious assassinations, it has us wondering, you know, were all these things planned? Like, literally, were all these things planned? I mean, and Tucker's been exposing a lot of this stuff with 9/11. He put out those files. So there's a lot of things that apparently needed to be uncovered regarding 9/11 that we were fed, and it wasn't true. Everything from the dancing Israelis, everything from did you hear that conspiracy theory?
No.
Or I shouldn't say conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. It actually happened. But even from the passports, you know, a lot of people now I'm hearing, I heard Sink and a few other people go back and now bring up the passports, the fact that the whole building burnt down, and then out of nowhere, just the people who were flying the plane, their passports just appeared, you know, didn't burn up in the flames or anything, but their passports just happened to be sitting there, able for us to read and determine who was the actual culprit in that. So a lot of stuff isn't lining up, but is anybody surprised? So let's take a look at
did they I mean, are they aware that it doesn't line up? What's your take on
now
that?
you about to let me put this down. That's a great question. So is the government, that actually is a question for all this stuff. Do they care? Like when they feed us propaganda, like when they deliver a story, like when they sit down and say, all right, this is how we're going to deliver this.
Right.
You're asking, like, do they care as far as when we don't accept it?
Well, I'm assuming when we say care, then we've already stamped and approved that this is curated. This is a play. This is all the actors and the stars are supposed to align and be in their particular areas when action. So it sounds like that we're past the point of wondering if what they're doing is intentful. Now we're asking the question whether or not do y'all care to know? Do y'all care that we know this ain't real? Or I guess that's where we're at, the question, right? So I guess it's a two-part question. You're kind of answering it based on what you're speaking back to me. So it sounds like it's on some BS off the rip.
Yeah, well, it's legal. It's legal for them to feed us propaganda. And it used to be legal. It used to be only legal for non-Americans, like, so for propaganda to be pushed outside the country. So that was perfectly legal. Okay. And then there's something, look it up, something called the Smith-Mundt Act. It's the Smith-Mundt Act, and this is something that was signed in when Barack Obama was president. And what it changed was it then allowed the government to essentially push out propaganda to Americans. So if they need to, I guess they're looking at it like a parent would look at with a kid. You know, you may lie to your kid to protect your kid.
Okay.
So that's how they're probably justifying in their mind. When we all know, obviously they're going to lie. You get crooked people like politicians and give them that freedom, they're going to use it in a negative way.
Okay.
They're going to be using it to push whatever agenda narrative they see fit. And to be honest, up until now, you know, up until the Candace Owens, a lot of these stories haven't, you know, they haven't really been exposed because we either haven't had the technology, haven't had the access, haven't had the people that are willing to go out there and expose the government. That's a dangerous thing to do. So when it comes to JFK, when it comes to MLK, when it comes to 9/11, when it comes to even what happened in 2020 with COVID, think about that. How much they just completely censored certain opinions. Zuckerberg came out and said that Biden and Kamala Harris, that they were actually telling them which things to censor. So they're actively telling them, let's say you have an expert that deals with diseases or things such as, you know, COVID. If they didn't say things aligned with Fauci and what the government wanted to portray to the people, they would just remove it.
Okay.
So here you are making a decision about whether or not you should put something in your body, and they're just telling you something based on following the money, right? Based on who pays them their money. The stations, they're just telling us based on who pays for their advertising.
Okay.
Just say what Big Pharma wants us to say. Big Pharma, what do we always talk about? There's three main entities that I see that feed money into both Democrats and Republicans. Doesn't matter. It's Big Pharma, it's Silicon Valley, and it's Israel. Now, I'm sure there may be others, but on the level that we see it play such a big influence, to me, those three stand alone. So when you have Big Pharma so big and determining or sponsoring, I would say, a lot of the politicians, sponsoring a lot of the news outlets, of course, you're going to get certain things pushed out there in a way where, I don't know if you've seen those clips during 2020, they joke about them now, where they make these mashups where everybody on the news was saying the same thing. Literally, they did the same exact words. They were just taking clips from different people, almost like a music video.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Because it's the same stuff. They're pushing the same stuff. So I don't think that they care. And I also don't think that they respect us to the point where they think that we'll actually do anything about it. Like Candace Owens, we can expose all these things, but at the end of the day, people want to be sheep. People want something to believe in. People don't want to believe that the government is corrupt because that could be a scary thing. people would rather live in the comfort of the ignorance of not knowing certain things and just being able to put their faith and hope in the government as a system. So therefore they don't have to take that upon themselves and live in a country that is going to have an uprising. Now that our government, we find out that they're lying to us. Now we got to have a civil war, an uprising. Nobody wants to get involved with that. We don't have people that grew up in that type of mindset. So I don't think it's as natural to us, let's say like a lot of these other countries where their state, now I want to say their natural state, but they've probably been involved in a lot of these uprisings when it comes to the government a lot more than us. So that's how I would say.
Okay. So at some point, this was considered the goal was, I guess, in a sense, like you said, to protect your child's kind of sequence. What point was that declared? Like, what was the first situation, or do we know, like, what was the first situation they were like, damn, man, we're looking out for our people with truly good intention, and then it sounds like it's just that ship got hijacked and it just took it to another place where now it's just being abused and manipulated. But at what point was it I'm lying to my child because I don't want them to know, or was that ever a thing?
I don't think it was ever that.
It was never.
I think I put that in the same category as like religion. Like, people can act like it's over there. People can act like it was given to us with some positive intent, but I just don't think that.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that. I think when you're trying to control a group of people and when you have a lot of power, it becomes very scary for you to give up that power. You don't want to lose that power. You're building a country, you want to establish certain rules and whatnot. You'll justify it in your mind. I can lie to these people for their own good. I can lie to these people because I know better for them. So they may justify it in their minds, but I don't think it ever gets to that point where it's like a parent looking out for a child. I think I'll justify this whatever way I need to in order to make sure that I stay in power because I'm what's best for this country. Without me and my involvement in this country, without me leading this country, everything would just go to hell. They'll rationalize it whatever way. I don't think that it was ever created with any other intention than to control a group of people, whether it's politics or religion. That's how I see it.
To benefit from it. Gotcha.
Yeah, to keep people in power, bro. Everything is unfortunately survival. Everything's about holding on to what we have. Look at how we live in this country. Look at take a step away and just look at how we all engage in this rat race. Because we're all scared of not having what somebody else has, of losing something that we may have. Do we need all this stuff that we have? Absolutely not. But we spend our time, effort, and energy working for stuff that we won't even use. We're trying to show off for people that we don't care about, that don't care about us. All this stuff that we involve ourselves in on a day-to-day basis, we don't live. If we could sit down and say, like, yo, map out your day, BK, what would a nice day be for you? What would an enjoyable, purposeful day be for you? The majority of us, if we asked ourselves that, we'd have to change our entire day along with our job.
Yeah, it wouldn't align with anything that we're doing on the day-to-day.
So we rationalize doing BS all day just to make it make sense to put food on the table. You know what I'm saying? Everybody rationalizes certain things, and that's so I don't think it ever had the intent to do anything but to control the people. I think it was a lot of egos involved, a lot of ruthless people involved that are willing to go to whatever length and extent to make sure that they stay in power. So that's how I look at it.
Gotcha. So it sounds like we would have never, because of that, somebody has always looked at big groups of people and seen a way to take advantage or to do less work or to benefit monetarily off of groups of people. But what's so wild to me, if you just change that perspective and let's just say your goal was truly intentional to care about the people that you quote unquote are maybe making decisions for. So where you want them to have, like, almost like your children, right? You want them to go to the best school, the best education, the best food, like the best mental health, like all these things. Like life just gets a little bit more, I would say, easier for the people in charge when they don't have to look over their shoulder and wonder if somebody going to figure out what they got going. But this propaganda thing seems just like a difficult job to not only create, think of, but continue and make it sustainable long term. And now we have situations like this where it continues to just be picked apart, poked at. Candace Owens, like every day they looking up, and it's just like somebody dismantled this whole thing. They're lying about how somebody got killed. They're lying about a shot you need to get take. It's just like you guys have just slid down the path where it's just like there is no point of return now. The ships are burned. It's impossible to turn this around and to be able to get the people to truly buy in, unless you're one of the people till this day that still stand and believe that they do have your best intentions in mind to begin with. And I guess ultimately those are the people they're catering to.
Yeah, because the propaganda is on so many levels. Like, just think about what we learned growing up to the point where we just accept it. There's no pushback, you know, and I hate to say this in a way where I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but when you can convince people that a man walked on water, that a woman had a baby without having sex, when you can convince people of these things, and I'm not saying that they're not true, you know, to each their own, whatever you believe in. But if you can convince people that they're true, is there anything that people won't believe in?
Yeah, I mean, if that bar is set there, then at this point it's free range.
Yeah, like there's nothing when you can convince somebody that a man came back from the dead, you know. I'm not saying that it's not true. And a lot of people will say, well, that's not a man. Cool. I'm not saying that any of that's not true. However, what I am saying is that if you can convince people of that, then what can't you convince people of? Especially when you have the majority of people in America wanting to believe in something. People want to believe in something. That's why people get so offended, in my opinion, when you start asking questions about their religion. Because when you start questioning and forcing people to answer, it makes them uncomfortable because they have to answer something that they know that they can never prove. And it's almost like you're challenging everybody that taught them that, everybody that believed in that for thousands of years or however long, that then ancestors upon ancestors. Now this was passed down to me by my grandparents. You think I'm going to allow somebody to disrespect it and act like it's all fake? People get offended by that type of stuff. So it's people look for something to believe in. People want to believe in something. There's not a lot of people that are willing to just walk around and say, hey, I don't know how we got here. I don't know how this was created. You know, I'm cool with that. I don't need to attach myself to a particular reason to make sense of everything that, with all actuality, we'll never be able to make sense of. So it's when it comes to these politicians, when it comes to anything that we were taught, I mean, to go back to your question, the first situation that I think exposed a lot of this on such a big level was probably COVID. You know, I think COVID was the one where it's like they will lie to us, manipulate us in any way possible, use our fear against us, use whatever political affiliation we have against us, and they will make a whole lot of money for the people that really run the country and use this chaos, just like powers that be. You never let any wasted chaotic moment, you know, never let a chaotic moment go to waste. They're always going to use it to push people one way or another because they know that's when people are their most vulnerable. People like we are a very vulnerable group of people.
Yeah, I wish people gave, even when we get on the topic of religion, which obviously that gets, you know, people are going to have their opinions, and that's what we want. And I enjoy that people have their different perspectives and how they're pulled and compelled to speak, you know, what their truth is or their experiences, etc. But I do always see, why have we gotten so complacent in the sense where we don't allow religion to continue to evolve? You know, it's just like science didn't stop, or technology hasn't stopped in its innovation. But it's so interesting how when we talk about, just let alone like religion, Christianity, believing what you believe in, it's just like, why aren't we compelled to continue to dig more and more? Or is the digging or researching and trying to learn more, is that what is that counterproductive to the religion? Like, it would excite me that we would continue to study and evolve our experiences and what we've heard and what we've thought, and can continue to define what it means, just kind of like what we do with the existence of man on the earth. Like scientists are constantly testing, looking, searching, hunting, and stuff like that. But it just seems like to religion, it's like everybody seems to believe they got the final book, the final say. It's done here, it stops here. And like there's just no more evolvement with religion without getting it to a place where it just becomes offensive, defensive, and now we just miss out on humankind living in a more evolved sense of what religion is. Because it's clear as day that even the people that have their beliefs, they still always say that the book was written by man. So it's just so interesting then, well, if man writ the Bible, and why don't we allow man to continue to innovate the Bible? But why does it have to be, well, this is what happened, this was done, and they don't allow any bit of discussion, respectful discussion, conversation, involvement? And I would think whatever your belief is, even when you go to like a debate class or a science class, you always have to stand and understand like what your position in, and you also you have to discuss. And the goal is to be able to withstand whatever it is that your perspective is through the questioning, and whether it be interrogation, whatever it may be, kind of like we see in the court of law. But it's just like, I wish that it just didn't get so emotional that now religion has just become a place where less and less people can even go down that path, because the people that hold the religion so close to their hearts and souls don't allow it to breathe in order to let people learn more and understand more and constantly make the decisions of whether or not they believe, or whether or not they choose to go one discipline or another discipline based on its honesty and its transparency. It's just like these black and white laws that just don't allow any bit of innovation. And it's just like I'm seeing it begin to do a disservice, because now we're seeing the younger generation not turn to these things as they maybe could have we allowed it to breathe and become innovative and become something that we can challenge and still continue to have these positive conversations.
You started off and you said, why don't we allow religion to evolve?
Mm-hmm.
Whenever anything evolves, that means it's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's in power, do you really want change, or do you want things to stay the same if you're only looking out for your well-being, your family's well-being?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about control. Control is keeping things a certain type of way. And it's a lot easier to control things when people are not concerned with evolving their thinking and are just content with being exactly where they are. That's why, and to be totally honest, it's not on the religion, it's not on it's not on the actual scriptures. It's not on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's on us, the fact that we will then, like, if you get people to believe in anything, they will see the world whatever way they need to see it in order to justify believing in what they believe in. Mm-hmm. So you can look at all the contradictions in the books, it doesn't matter. But if a politician had as many contradictions as the Bible, then we would never trust that politician. But the Bible can have all these contradictions, and we'll look at it and say, well, this is just to show us that man is not, you know what I mean? It's like, we'll make up whatever rationalization we need to. And at the end of the day, it comes down to, because what happens when you tell a little kid that Santa Claus isn't real?
It ruins his day.
They get mad at you, right?
Yeah.
Like they'll start crying, lose it, question. Mom and dad have been lying to me this whole time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so imagine what people are going to do when it comes to religion. They won't even dare question something. And that's how you know it's not about learning. It's not about evolving. Because when it comes to learning and evolving, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to ask questions.
You're supposed to challenge it, poke holes.
You're supposed to change, poke holes. And if people actually believe in it, if it's actually real,
then it stands true.
I remember Elon Musk when he had they were saying that the Tesla truck was bulletproof. And I think somebody, maybe he did, I don't know, they were reposting like somebody hitting it or shooting at it and stuff, because you want to demonstrate that this product is what I say it is. But if you have people asking questions and then people don't want to answer those questions and feel like they're above it and feel like, well, it's already in there, or you gotta that now they can't answer the question, so they'll put it on God. You got to go talk to God. It's all just, I mean, if you have a conversation about religion, I feel like with mature people, then, and I got to be careful how I say this, I think they'll understand that the things that the questions that we're asking. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think that they'll be moved enough by it to ever
ask themselves,
take a step back out of it in order to really question certain things. Mm-hmm. And I also think that a lot of people, their way of dealing with it is to just not learn.
Yeah.
To not really, you know, how many people do you talk to that are Christian? You ask them about certain things in the Bible and they're like, what?
Yeah, like it's like offensive. Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have we been in our groups where we're talking about religion and we're saying certain things like, hey, I got a problem with this. This doesn't align with, like, this doesn't seem very Christ-like. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, wait, what? There was this. They said you could beat your wife. They said slavery. They said all that. What was the context of how much you could beat that slave? You know what I mean? It's always justifying a way to believe in what I already believe in because people don't want to do work. Somebody just wrote it. Unc just wrote it. Ignorance is bliss. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Ignorance is bliss when it comes to a lot of this stuff. People would just rather believe in something. It's how, when you go to work, isn't it easier to just, you know, buy in completely, even though you may be buying into some BS? But when you buy in, the people that just love their job, they actually enjoy doing it. But people would, sometimes you got morals, sometimes you got a conscience, sometimes you like, yo, this doctor just prescribed this medicine that I know is going to have a harmful effect on this patient, but I'm the front desk person and the doctor pays me well. So, hey, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm a sales rep. Let's say I'm working with some of the doctors and I get paid more. I'll use a regular example. I get paid based on a lot of these surgeries that the doctors do. I know some of these surgeons. Let's say I know a certain surgeon is doing BS, giving surgeries to people that they shouldn't do. Do I sit back and just collect the money, or do I say that, oh, my morals are above this? I'm not working with this doctor anymore. That's, you know, like,
that's the position everybody's put in.
So now we get challenged all the time. It's just how you going to act. So
yeah, okay. Well, it does make it very interesting that, you know, that even with dang, I drew a blank.
well, let me fill in something that you said earlier.
Yeah.
Because Matt just touched on it. He said, I can hardly watch any movies or TV because now I instantly recognize all the brainwashing. It kind of ruined a lot of stuff for me that is true. This happened to me over Netflix, like with Netflix over the last maybe 10, 15 years, and probably not as much over the last couple of years. But I remember watching all these, like, they got Queen Latifah in the movie. She's the superhero, the woman superhero. You got all these women in these movies. I think there was another one with Gabrielle Union where somebody was trying to break into the house or something. Maybe it wasn't Gabrielle, but it was Michael Ealy was playing in it, a guy. And in all these movies, like, you got Ludacris, like, Queen Latifah saving the day and beating up the men, and Ludacris kind of just falling back. And then you got it the same, all these movies representing the same thing. And I'm like, hold up, what are they trying to push? Like, why are you there's nothing wrong with certain things that occur in society. You know what I mean? But when the government is actively trying to push the trans movement on kids, when they're trying to push boys playing sports against girls, when they're trying to push that a woman can be just as strong and as good as a fighter as a man, it's like, what is this really trying to accomplish? Like, why are y'all forcing this down my throat? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So even when it comes to the movies,
and
look
the
at the movies, like,
yeah.
And when you were talking about earlier with the government and the propaganda, bro, all we got to do is look at House of Cards, look at Scandal, all these movies, TV shows. Do we not believe that that's actually what's happening behind closed doors?
Yeah, it seems so jokingly, but then at the same time, holy crap, it really could be some.
Yeah, and I think they do that on purpose. They'll roll it out
just to put it in your face. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, that was in the movie. They're not actually going to do that, but then they actually
beyond that
do exactly what was in the movie. Mm-hmm. So it's a strange place to just rely on the powers that be teaching us stuff. But the good thing is, we got access to all this. We have the ability to have this conversation with people all over the world, being able to tap in, we're not getting shut down. You know what I'm saying? We can question these things. We can have these combos. There's nothing stopping us. I can understand the generations before us, why they didn't question certain things. You know, it was more of a tight knit. It was easier to control people without the access and freedom that we have. Now there's really just no excuse.
Yeah. I wish it does definitely allow you to think. I just what I hate about I seen a comment in there. It's almost like, with this topic that we're having, like the frustration that sometimes you'll see with the people that believe. And it's just like, for the people that believe, like, why won't you allow us to just ask a question? Questions doesn't mean that we're dismantling, or we don't have faith. We're just interested in learning more. We are the younger generation that I would think's purpose is to continue to carry the torch that might have been carried for you. And I hate when I see people that have found their voice or found their religion, and they just don't allow it to spread to others that aren't believers, which I thought was the premise of it to begin with. It's like when you're a younger kid, somebody just invites you to church, not necessarily with an immediate impact that he wants you to accept, but it just starts off as an opportunity for you to see something maybe you're not aware of. And that's just how it starts. But it seems like as I'm getting older, it's just like wanting to know more and wanting to define more so I can find my journey is like the ultimate most offensive thing that you could do to someone that could believe. And I just find that such a I find it just such a toxic way of not allowing religion to flow into others and continue to grow as a whole, if you guys who are on the forefront as believers aren't allowing questions. We're not asking you to give us the answers if you don't know them. If you know them, raise your hand. If you don't, then don't. But it just shouldn't be taking so offensively. It's almost like when a kid asks you, "Hey mom, why is that?" or "How is that?" Like, do you just like you have the parents that blow up on their kids and say, "Stop asking me questions"? Or do you have the kids that's be like, let me sit down to you, Jacob. This is how this is done, or this is how this is done. And it just gives them an opportunity to be like, oh, okay. And then allow them to get to that place when they are ready. But I just don't like the steering of the vessel sometimes. And this isn't all people, but with some people that I see that are the believers, they just don't allow people to find their path in getting there. And it's like if they don't follow it in the protocol or the structure in which they found it, then we're just going to immediately assume that you are being disrespectful, offensive, and we don't want to hear anything from you. And I just think that it's a selfish way to look at things, because if you feel like what you're believing in allows you entry into another life or eternal faith, or allows you eternal life down the road, et cetera, and that you will be able to live in a happy state or whatever, but why would you not want to continue to share that with people? Why are you hoarding you getting access? Like, even when we talk about the Jews, it's like, we are God's people. Well, like, why don't y'all focus on making everybody God's people? Like, why aren't you spreading the love in the scripture? Why aren't you doing the things that move people the most, which is love? But it's just like we're always met with some type of toxic friction, negativity, angry, and it's scaring more. These disciplines are scaring us from even wanting to go down that path, because we're scared to ask the teacher a question. We're scared to say the wrong thing. We're scared to be offensive. And now look what it's become. It's just become the elephant in the room that honestly, as you get older, if you're not a believer when you're at a certain age, it's just safer to just never ask anything, or to go about it on your own and not look for support from the other people, because it just seems like it's just the most touchy thing that you could possibly ask when you hit a certain age.
Yeah, I think it's egos and insecurities, because when you're not prepared on a test, do you like asking or answering questions about it?
Right.
So it's like when you start questioning people about certain things, keep in mind the people that are questioning religion or questioning politics, a lot of times those are the people that have done more research with more intent than the people who haven't questioned it.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're already threatening them in a way where they feel threatened because they're entering a conversation to try to prove something that they pledged their entire life to, as this is my Lord and Savior, whatever it may be in different religions. But it was worth it for you to pledge your life to it and for you to say that this is my Lord and Savior, but it wasn't worth it enough for you to research it as much as I did, just because I had certain questions about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the last thing, what was the last thing that you mentioned? I wanted to respond to the last thing that you mentioned. You were spot on with everything.
Was it the topic like it doesn't allow, like, why, like when I was talking about like how certain people believe that they're God's people, but they don't allow other people to become God's people?
Yeah. Well, even from, you were talking about love, matter of fact.
Okay, yeah.
You were talking about love and why people don't bring people together and unite on love, would rather just keep people separate in their own corners when it comes to hate. It's just easier. It's easier for people because love in a lot of ways is going to bring about freedom. It's going to rid us of control. Like, you're not going to, if you're fueled by love, could you imagine if our politicians were led by love? Do you think that our military industry, do you think that our military industrial complex, like our military industry, would be as wealthy? Do you think Big Pharma would be as wealthy? Do you think that anybody in power would be in power? Do you think that any of these countries that exist would even exist as they currently exist? Mm-hmm. None of this would occur. It's all based on creating a sense of fear, because when they instill fear in us, then they know that they can get us to do certain things that we otherwise wouldn't do if we were just led by love.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't be, even from the questions that you're asking. It's all fear-based. People are scared because the religions were used to control people. So without control, those people are now in a fearful place. So if you have just people just based on love, and it's like, yo, let's talk about this. Is this, if you, the scriptures, a lot of the religions aren't representing love. So it's like, it's representing control, discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Do this, and I'll give you a reward in the afterlife. Let me, I want you to respond, but I want to play this video that I wasn't at all going to play.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm not.
I wasn't even going to play this. I kind of just saved it for myself yesterday, but I thought that it was pretty interesting. Hold on, let me see if I can find this. And it was based on the Bibles and certain things that we already spoke about. Hold on. Okay, boom. Here we go. I'm going to play this for you. Let me share this screen. Share this tab instead. Take a look at this.
Yo, you have to watch this.
Oh, I watch her all the time.
Did you know that the Holy Bible was actually pieced together by government officials in the 4th century when Emperor Constantine gathered a bunch of bishops at the Council of Nicaea, and they voted on which books got included? A lot of powerful texts were left out. Books that taught the power of your own intuition and embodiment. How the kingdom of heaven is within you.
Did you hear what she just said? How the kingdom of heaven is within you. Taught you about intuition. When you go back and read a lot of these books by Neville Goddard, like a lot of these old books, The Power of the Subconscious, all of these books speak about, even the book, The Secret, from like a 101 level. Have you ever read that book, The Secret?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of these books are talking about the things that, in my opinion, were left out in a lot of these biblical scriptures. They were talking about all the things that connect us from a soul standpoint, that speak on the energy that we put out and how we can create our own existence just based on manifesting. All these different things, they were in the Bible. They talked about the aliens. They talked about the watchers coming from, they explained a lot of these questions that we have. And what they did was they empowered us in a way, because if somebody told you that the kingdom of heaven is within you, could they then use it to sell you on behave this certain type of way in this current life? So therefore you can get it. It's already in us. God is within us. But if you say these things, a lot of people will get offended because they want it to be something externally. All the entire Bible, all these things, in my opinion, I don't think certain things, I guess, were meant to be taken literally. You know, it's hard to read the Old Testament and certain things, rules that were applied, and not take those things literally. However, there's other things that, you know, I don't take them literally. A virgin birth, you know, I don't take that literally. But you know what I mean? But
yeah, it's a concept. There's a message in the story per se. So we want you to get the deeper meaning or the deeper underlying in the story. Gotcha.
right. So all these things, what did she say? That the Bible was put together like it's a group of books. It's a group of books, just like the Talmud. It's a group of books that were put together to create a greater book. Like it's not just one book. So for a lot of these things, when you have the Council of Nicaea and you have a bunch of political leaders get together and say, hey, what books should we include? Should we include a book that talks about, how God is within all of us and how heaven is really within all of us? Or should we include something and tell the story in a way where it's like, hey, if they behave while they're on earth, if they obey their earthly master, then they'll get to the kingdom of heaven. Mm-hmm. Now, who's the master? Like, what are we obeying? You know what I'm saying? What's the heaven? Now, you can easily switch that. I can hear that and look at it from a different perspective and say, you know what? We are our own masters. So if we obey the things that we set out for ourselves, BK, you know exactly what you need to do to become successful. I know exactly what I need to become a bit healthier. Mm-hmm. If I obey that master plan, I am the master of my own universe. If I obey those things, then I can achieve certain things that are going to bring out the kingdom of heaven in me, allow me to maximize my potential, allow me to become the best version of myself, allow me to reach that godly standard rather than looking elsewhere. I have that all within me. But if you start explaining that to people, if you start empowering a whole bunch of people to think that they have God within them, why would they listen to you, a politician?
Yeah. That's why that religion and the politics starts getting so intertwined, and you just don't know who, what, when, where, how, who created, and you start losing the lineage of where it truly should have been in the core of it to begin with. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's all. I don't even think we need to watch we'll watch the rest of this and then we'll get to that longer video. Mm-hmm. Unless, I'm down to keep talking about this all day, but we'll see where it takes us at the end.
Yeah.
True sovereignty isn't anything at all about the divine feminine. Like the Book of Enoch, which talked about divine beings teaching humans ancient knowledge. Or the Gospel of Mary, where Magdalene was actually a priestess, a channel, who remembered her past lives and led a rebellion alongside Yeshua to awaken people from their blind faith. Or the Gospel of Thomas, which said the kingdom of God is within you, not in a temple, or a priest, or a savior. Yeah, those were nixed. Didn't fit the narrative, I guess. So they were buried. And the ones that did make the cut, yeah. They taught you that sin was a default setting, that obedience was how you entered the gates of heaven, and that the fear of God was the path to salvation. Literally claiming it's okay to unalive entire populations if God tells you to take their land. Or the ones that say women should be silent, obey their husbands, or be stoned, respectfully, of course. God said it was okay. And that's what made the final cut. It gets better. You know how the Bible calls God Lord like 6,000 times, and we keep thinking it's talking about some creator God who sent his son into a blood sacrifice, when Lord was actually the title used for emperors, slave owners, and ruling class back then? It's not a book of spiritual guidance. It's political, and it was strategically manipulated to keep the power in the hands of the elite empires that still run the systems today, by the way. Super weird.
It's funny. I hadn't even watched the video the entire way through, and I'm glad that I'm watching it with y'all for the first time. But yeah, strange times, bro.
Yeah,
strange times.
Yeah, well, it allows us, like, what I do like is, like, when you do find a group of people like we're having, like, we can have the conversation and not be taking more or less offensively. It's more or less like, hey, we're eager to learn who, what, when, where, how, not because and I think it allows the people also that are on the forefront of believing, it allows you to dig your claws into a deeper understanding when these questions occur. I don't believe that just blind faith is the same thing as vetted faith or researched faith. Mm-hmm. You're just blindly associating with so that you can have the potential to be associated with what is classified what you think could be right. Like, this ain't an emergency parachute. Like, if you're supposed to believe, you're supposed to really get down and busy and get in the trenches with it. Don't be just half-assing it, and then when somebody questions, you take offensive to it to shoot people away. Like, I'm not really feeling it with that. Like, that to me is just, that just doesn't allow your faith to grow stronger because you hear questions that you may not have the answers. We are not holding you accountable to the answers, but we are holding you accountable to having the conversation. And if that also shoos you away, then we have to understand we cannot sit here and continue to display our affection or our belief systems if every time somebody brings conversation to our forefront and we meet it with dismissive or emotional responding. Like, then I'd rather you say that you're not a believer if you're offended by questions of the people that are trying to understand what you believe in. Just don't say you believe in it. I wouldn't go on the internet and say I'm a doctor if I didn't know the questions that people may ask me. So why are you believing in something if you don't allow people the opportunity to ask the questions? You know what I mean?
And it's because they believe in it. When you believe in something, that by definition means that you do not know.
Okay.
I don't believe the sky is blue. I don't believe my mom is my mom. I don't believe, no, that's my mom.
It's
the
just
sky is blue.
That. Yeah.
When you have to believe in something, it's based on the fact that you can't prove this. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't even be as big of a deal. Like, you're fighting over the fact that you really believe in something that you're offended because I don't believe in the same thing. And that threatens your belief for whatever reason. But even you mentioned earlier, and I put this definition up because you were talking about how people get offended when you don't have the same faith. Of course, why would I look at the definition of faith? Complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Why? Why would I have faith in something without doing the due diligence and questioning it? How can I just have faith in something because mommy and daddy told me that that's the truth and they never questioned it, so therefore, I shouldn't question it? And it goes, and there's so many different layers to a lot of this stuff. Without us even having the conversation around how religion has been used, without even understanding. Every time I see a black person, I'm gonna be honest, yo. So we're doing. Let me shout out to Professor King. Let me be raw. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me move this off the screen. So we're doing this event at our church on Saturday. We're bringing kind of like that village Sunday dinner type of feel, but we're doing it on Saturday at my hometown church. I hadn't been there. I haven't gone to a church service probably once in the last. I went when my grandma was still alive, my nan was still alive, maybe like 10 years ago. But besides that, I hadn't gone maybe since I was like 12 years old.
Oh, to that church or church period?
To that church, to that particular church. So I went back because their membership was so low, and my mom still goes there. She does different programs like knitting and stuff there. And she was telling me about it. I'm like, yo, it's a shame, because even though I may not agree with everything from a religious standpoint, I do believe that the church can have a positive impact in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean? It should.
And the fact that more of us may not be getting involved, then now you're only hearing from certain voices, or you're only allowing certain people to create the culture, which is turning a lot of people off. So we're doing this program on Saturday, and I walk into the church because we only toured the basement, because that's where most of the things were going to be, in the basement. But when I went upstairs into the actual, what is it called? A pew? I forget what it's called. Whatever. Yeah. I look up and I see a white Jesus. And it just, I was kind of just thrown off. I'm like, well, why? I'm just wondering why. Like, most of the people in your congregation are black. Why did you find a need to put, and it's not even like it's on the stained glass as white, because it was like a poster. And I'm sitting here saying, and a lot of people will say, well, it doesn't matter what the person looks like. Well, if that's the case, then they wouldn't have asked Michelangelo to repaint the person and to create the image of what we typically see, which is a European figure. So when I'm at a black church looking at this, I'm just like, my mind is just warped. I'm like, yo, like that's where it's gotten to the point where you can't ask questions.
Yeah, you can't say that.
That's how far gone it's gotten, to the point where you can't ask questions. And I'm sitting here like, yo, what is going on here? Like, just why? I'm just so when I connect that, and this is the path that I didn't even want to go down when I'm having the conversation about religion. But whenever I see a black person or a black church do something like that, I'm sitting here wondering, like, damn, like here you were, if people believe in the transatlantic slave trade or people were here, whatever, here you were, you got taken over by a group of people who justified a religion. They used the religion to justify doing whatever it was to you, oppressing you, enslaving you, raping your wife, raping your daughter, doing all types of nonsense, right? That's what they were using. And you just accepted this? Like you not only accepted the religion, but you accepted the culture of the religion, because there's many different cultures and how you can teach Christianity. There's many different cultures. There's different sects. There's all these different things. But you accepted everything about it. Knowing that this was used to destroy your life. Yeah. And people will still justify it. There's people running around saying, thank God we were enslaved because I got introduced through Jesus Christ through this. It's like, damn, are we that far gone as a people? Yeah. Like this shouldn't be the case. If you're trying to empower somebody, going back to the imagery of the white Jesus, if you're trying to empower a group of people, that's why imagery is important. Why would you not have a black Jesus? Don't you think that would be more important or very powerful for, let's say, a brown-skinned Jesus to be in the church as the person that you're worshiping as the Lord and Savior, the most important being ever? This is the godly character, and you look at it and it looks nothing like you.
Even from the position of, let's say, just marketing, like it would just make sense that like they tell us to come to the black schools to talk to the black kids in the inner cities, right? They don't really be going to grab somebody that don't necessarily look like this because they know that the kids may not resonate with them. They may not, we don't come from where they come from, et cetera, et cetera. So it doesn't allow, just from a sheer like, hey guys, this would make sense or may not sense. But as you say that, like my image of Jesus growing up my entire life, I've never even considered that he could be any other race or depiction than European. Never even thought of it, because every church I've ever gone to, every time I've gone with my mom, I've only ever seen that, and I never question it because I'm like, at the end of the day, to me, I was like, oh, it ain't a big deal until you start reverse engineering it, and you're like, but it can be a big deal. No, for real.
It was a big deal to the people that use it against
to change it. Yeah.
But you sitting here thinking like, oh, it ain't that big of a deal.
Right.
And shout out to Matt Millions. We can make jokes. Everything's good. He said maybe Jesus was black since his dad did abandon him and left him on earth to be a goat herder. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Nah, it's all good, man. We make jokes out here. Yeah. We make jokes out here. But it is real. It is real. And whether Jesus was black, whether Jesus was brown, whatever it was, I think that if we're just being real, one thing that we do know is that he wasn't white. If we're just being real in that region, based on that region. So and let me be very clear, I don't care if he was white. You know what I mean? I don't care, because to me, even how I look at religion, I think every home should create their own religion. You can use whatever book that you want to use to provide guidance to you and how you live. But I think every home, every household should have their 10 commandments. Every household should have the values that they live by, should have the principles that they
absolutely
live by. That should be established within the household. Why? Because that's what God basically, based on what the other books that this lady said that they kept out of the Bible, that's what that was telling us. The kingdom of heaven is within us. Divinity is within all of us. All these different things. So why would I just...
Yeah, it does make me... the principles, in when you keep that in mind, like it does definitely... It does allow you to operate in I would say a higher standard to yourself, right? And it sounds like that should be the intention. But I guess my question for also, like, when it comes to belief in a religion, like, does anybody ever have the discussion? And this is probably the most obvious question in the world, but like people are just killing people because they don't believe in their religion. Like, just from a moral standpoint, like, isn't that just like Like, why doesn't that hurt the believers? Like, why doesn't that like just break like that? Like, when I think of Southside Chicago or East LA or New York, the Bronx, the Brooklyn, like it just hurts my soul when I see somebody in Africa, Palestine, like that doesn't make me feel good. And it definitely don't make me feel good if I'm a believer for y'all to just be killing cats and then you have the audacity to put my belief on it. Like y'all gonna stain and make people believe that it is okay to kill others using the religion that has maybe guided me to do good in this environment or this community or in this world. Like, let me go spin the block. I gotta go pull up on y'all and press y'all. Y'all not gonna be doing what y'all doing in the name of what I believe in if I feel like the intention is good. But it's almost like the shield goes down, the weapons going down. Like, why are we not holding them accountable for killing based on the religion? Like, why y'all not pressing them? Like, why y'all not pressing the preachers or the pastors and the people that are caught touching or messing with the kids? Like, why y'all not rolling up on them and pressing them like y'all do Trump when he don't do something in office, or when somebody tells you when you go to the bank or you go to Target and it's missing a cord in the box and y'all ready to light it on fire? Why don't y'all go press everyone else that be on that type of time? But it's just like, nah, they just let it slide. I don't understand how the let it slide play. Like,
because religion was meant to create slaves, not gods. Religion was never intended to empower you to realize that the light is within you. Religion was taught for you to be a slave, to be a follower. That's what it was designed for. People do not have courage. Religion does not empower you to the point where you can have courage and stand on the things that your scripture actually says. It empowers you to be complicit and to rationalize and justify whatever you need to in order to have my tribe, because I can put my tribe before principles. Well, all these principles apply until it affects my tribe. This is why Mark Levin, bro, I guess we'll just stay on this topic, because Mark Levin just put up a video where he was talking about October 7th was a Holocaust. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like,
what happened in DC?
Bro, no, October 7th. You talking about January 6th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about the
January 6th,
yeah.
J6, yeah. But he said this, and I'm like, wait, what? And this is the fear that's created. He literally said, and unless I heard it wrong, maybe sometimes I'm hearing this stuff early on, but I got the clip. And I'm like, yo, what are you trying to sell to people? People are not believing this stuff, but the people selling the product have been very lucky, and they've grown. It's like a spoiled salesperson. Like when you sell something so easily,
you don't even put no effort in no more.
You get to the point where it's like you feel entitled that they have to buy the product from you. It's like, no, bro, we're not going for this. This makes absolutely no sense. No sense. Like, you think I'm just going to believe in this blindly? And a whole lot of people do it. I've had conversations back and forth with Bonds, who just commented, and everybody else in our group chat where we've been having this conversation for the last 15 years. And I've seen slow transitions from a few people. But ultimately, it's like, oh, well, I just want to believe in this. So therefore, I'm just going to rationalize whatever I need to in order to believe in it. People are fanatics. We believe in our football teams like they can do no wrong instead of just rooting for whatever. We believe in our political groups. We believe in the politicians. We believe in these rappers. We just believe in things. We are fanatics when it comes to all this stuff. So therefore, we just rationalize it whatever way we need to see fit in order to just go on with our day and not disrupt anything. Because what happens to disruptors? You get killed. You get Charlie Kirked. You get MLK'd. You get Malcolm X. Like people that speak up and go against.
You get Kanye.
Yeah, you get Kanye.
Yeah.
Like all of this stuff. Who wants to speak out against this? Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Like, who's really willing to, you may appreciate what Jesus did for you, but you're not willing to actually be Jesus. You're not willing to go on that cross. You're not willing to get crucified to stand on the principles that you claim that you live by. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't be allowing what's going on in Palestine.
Yeah, exactly.
All of these Christians that are supposed Christians, what's more important? You going to your work, you working your 9 to 5, or going to save some lives and speaking up about there not being a genocide committed right now? Which is more important?
Accountability.
Which is more important? Not everybody's willing to have this conversation. Not everybody's willing to say, like, yo, Israel, y'all are doing some BS.
Yeah, charge them up. Stand on business.
Not everybody's willing to fry Dave Portnoy. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's willing to do all these things. And if you can't even talk about Dave Portnoy, you think you're going to talk about Israel? You think you're going to talk about Bibi Netanyahu? You think you're going to talk about Jesus? You think you're going to talk about Judaism? Come on now.
I like what Matt said. Someone takes your parking spot at Walmart. It's a call for violence, but not the politicians robbing you every week, every month, every year. Taxes on taxes, petty law fines, etc. Yeah, I don't understand. We be ready to swing in the streets if Trump pop off, or the left or the right, whatever. They ready to spin the block and kill Kirk over religion or over politics. But when it comes to that religion, I don't see nobody pressing nobody. I'm seeing pastors and jets and in mansions robbing the congregation who ain't even got it. And I don't never see no clips on TikTok or no Facebook, or I don't see nobody joining and pressing. I don't see no pressing. They'll fire a coach for a losing season, but won't fire a pastor for robbing them for 50 years.
It's the greater powers that be, bro. It's like if you're the most powerful people in the world, religion is your best friend. Religion is what has been used to where so people don't even have to know who you are, but they could just insert themselves and pretty much steal people's identities. Like, there's been a lot of identity stealing, identity theft when it comes to these religious groups. There's been a whole lot of identity theft. Whether fraud, whether it's even, I was looking at what they said where Mike Rashid, matter of fact, hold on, man, this is what we gonna do.
Mike Rashid, bodybuilder.
Yeah, hold up. Mike Rashid was just going off on this, talking about. Don't even worry about it. You do me a favor. Talk real quick while I'm looking at this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the thing. What Conjoy said. BK said the bad word, accountability.
You can click it on the screen too, BK.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Dak taking the truth to the bank. Finn 74. So this is a good look. Anthony says it seems like it's us in the West. That's true. Like I've only ever been in the West, and I don't know how this stacks up on the East, on the other side of the pond. So it would be interesting to get that point of view from others in a different place than the West, because obviously the West does have a structure or a conditioning pattern that I don't believe the East may always have.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You bring up a great point. Like when I'm talking to my homegirl Baywa that works with us, she lives in Nigeria, and she's very Christian. She comes from a village, and we all hear about what's going on in Nigeria with Christians being slaughtered. It seems to be more tribal, based on, unless I'm recalling our conversation.
And when you say tribal, what is that?
Well, people are trying to make it seem like it's a religious battle between each other, or that Christians are just being killed just for being Christian.
Oh, it's not. It's just that.
Based on my understanding, it's tribal. I'm sure that plays a role, because then how do you justify killing somebody else, like you said? Oh, well, they were part of that religious group. Think about how we talk
write it off on that. Yeah.
Think about how we talk about Mamdani, in New York City. They're pretty much the things that they're saying about him. Your incentive, you're like calling for somebody like to be a hero if they did something to him. Just based on how you're speaking about him. Based on how you're speaking about him, if somebody does something to him, you're making it seem like that would be a heroic thing to do. Because y'all are trying to fear monger people so much. Listen to this Mike Rashid real quick.
Yeshua was a big opponent to the oppressive power structures that existed. That was the Jewish Pharisees. That was the Roman government, because they were the occupiers of that land back then. This is what's interesting. People get triggered by this, but this is true. I didn't create history. It is what it is. The Pharisees went to Pontius Pilate, went to the Romans to try him for heresy and convict him and kill him. That's what they did, allegedly. Well, a few hundred years after his death.
I'm going to pause it there because I feel like if we play the whole video just with that music in the background, we're going to have to cut it out. But just based on what he's saying, so he said, what he say, the Jewish Pharisees and the Roman powers. So that's who pretty much worked together, I guess, or I guess that's who Jesus was his opposition. That's who he was speaking up against, based on how they were living, how they were running things, based on my understanding. Now, I'm not sure if you heard the same thing what Mike Rashid said, but yeah, that's my takeaway.
Okay.
Death, the Romans decided this is going to benefit us in a profound way in regards to expanding our empire. So they became Christian all of a sudden, the Romans, who allegedly killed the man. So after that, the way in which they spread Christianity throughout the world has nothing to do with Yeshua. They had these Catholic edicts, or these papal bulls. It was 3 in particular that were very profound and changed the course of the world. The first one was Dum Diversus, and that was 1452, Pope Nicholas V. And basically what that was like a bill to go into Africa and enslave, kill, take land from those who are not Christian.
And when I sit here and have a conversation with Baywa and she's telling me she's Christian, I'm like, oh, I wonder how that, I know that Christianity was in Africa first, but like I said, there's different cultures of Christianity. And I always wonder, how Christianity, why people believe in what they believe. Even when you look at Islam, the reason why a lot of Africans are Islamic, especially in that northern African region, that Eastern African region, is because that's where a lot of the Arab slave trade existed. So if I come into your country, or if I'm taking over and I'm justifying it based on you don't believe in my God, so therefore I can take you over, of course, then I'm going to make sure that you're believing in my God. I'm going to make sure that you're understanding the justification around this. I'm going to tell you that you need to obey your earthly master if you want to get to heaven, and I'm your earthly master. That's what I'm going to tell you. And we just bought into it. We just got tired of fighting one of the main reasons why I respect a lot of the Palestinians. They're not going for all that. You're not coming in and completely destroying our culture. You're not going to do what you did to Black Americans, which every time I get asked a question about where I'm from, I got to have the dumb face and say, Jersey, or South Carolina. And the reason I got to say this is because I don't have a country that I can attach myself to. I don't know where my history dates back before my great grandparents. If that, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Palestinians are not going for that. You're not destroying my entire history.
Yeah, you're not going to do us like what we've seen y'all do.
And you think that it's just coincidence that the group of people in America that have had their history destroyed the most are the ones at the bottom, the ones that get manipulated the easiest, the ones that you can steer emotionally by triggering them in whatever direction that you want to steer them in, the ones that will frontline all the other fights for all these other victim groups that would never frontline a fight for them. All this stuff is like
you in your bag.
It's the indoctrination, bro. It's the indoctrination.
In his bag with this one. Okay, in his bag.
So let's keep going. Let's keep going with Mike Rashid.
They never even heard that word before, but that's what that was, right? The next one was the Romanist Pontifex in 1455, right? By the same demonic pope. To go further into Africa and keep pushing the line, to keep doing the same thing. This is becoming profitable at this time, right? Then there was another one, Inter Caetera in 1493, and that was by this demon named Pope Alexander VI. And he sent Spain to the Americas to subjugate, enslave, colonize lands in the America from the indigenous people here. So those 3 legally binding blessings went into indigenous lands where people who've been living there forever take their land, enslave them, extract resources, so on and so forth, all in the name of Jesus. This had nothing to do with Jesus. Then they did it to their own people too. They had inquisitions, right? They had the Spanish Inquisitions.
And real quick, before we get into that, yo, think about like what we're hearing. He said it earlier that the Romans, after killing Christ, they actually took on Christianity in order to spread their wings throughout the world. They used the story of the person that they allegedly killed and used that story to then gain control and create the biggest religion on earth. So when I talk about identity crisis or identity theft, look at what we're seeing right now when it comes to Israel. You got Europeans claiming that they are entitled to a land because it says it in a book that we all know that nobody in that region looked how they looked.
And nobody charges them up.
And nobody says anything. So now, but then think about it. So it seems to be a lot of identity theft going around. It seems to be a lot of identity theft going around. Because even Critical Thinking wrote earlier, he said, Jesus looks like a Jewish person to me. And I responded and I said, well, which Jewish person? Are you talking about the Semites? Or are you talking about the Ashkenazis that came from Europe? Are you talking about the people from Eastern Europe? Or are you talking about the people that were actually in that region that looked like Palestinians, that were Palestinians? Which people are you talking about? All of this stuff is connected and intended. It doesn't have good intent. That's my point. Like we sit here and lean back, like we rest on the fact that, oh, well, it had good intentions, but people have used it the wrong way. Says who? It gets to a certain point where the people that are using it for wrong, they're creating the brand. They're the ones that are pushing the brand. They're the ones that are pushing the culture. We could sit here and talk about Black culture and say that, well, Black culture, we have Ben Carlson. You know, we have great heart surgeons. We have tremendous jazz musicians. We could say all this stuff, but the dominant culture that has taken over when it comes to Black people is the drill music. It's the Meg Thee Stallions. It's all the ignorant shit that's put out to our people. That's the dominant culture. So culture can dictate where something goes. You know what I'm saying? And culture so this stuff is a lot, man. This stuff is a lot, and this is why people don't want to actually look into this stuff. Black people in America in particular, like I can't stand it. I don't even like having this conversation a lot of ways, but I can't stand how ignorant and just how content people are with the lack of understanding. And I'm not saying that I have a proper understanding, but I'm saying is that I'm willing to ask the questions. I'm willing to go down these supposed rabbit holes and visit some of these supposed conspiracy theories. I'm willing to do that. A lot of people are just not willing to do any of the things, and they just want to believe in Santa Claus. That's it. So let's finish this video off.
The medieval inquisitions, and they were going throughout Europe. Anybody who wasn't with their program, it was torture and execution, burning humans alive. That sounds more like human sacrifice, like some kind of satanic ritual, than anything to do with Jesus. But people will get mad at me for saying these things, but this is real history. I'm talking about things that's going to make people uncomfortable, but sometimes you have to challenge yourself and check your belief systems. Yeshua was a big opponent.
So even so Critical Thinking, and I think Critical Thinking was responding to this. So Dutch wrote, "We got here before white Europeans," and Critical Thinking wrote, "No, you didn't." Critical Thinking, you always tell me to do research on John Dulles and the Dulles brothers. I've been doing my research. I've been looking at. I just watched my second documentary on it earlier this morning. I'm going to ask you to do some of your research. Read some of these books like They Came Before Columbus. Read some of what Christopher Columbus actually wrote in his diaries, in his journals. Read some of these things, and it's so far-fetched. Like, we actually believe that everybody came over here on this transatlantic slave trade. Like, it doesn't even make sense. We actually believe that Native Americans look like Pocahontas, and that's the only Native Americans that were here. Those people were brought here. Those are Mongolians that were brought here. Those are people that were brought here from different regions. People from African descent have been in America a lot longer than Europeans. Oh, but because they told us the story, That's what we have to believe. That's what we have to embrace. It's talk to some Freemasons, talk to some Moors about history. Like this is really a secret society when it comes to a lot of this stuff, just when it comes to history. We just don't do our due diligence. They told us in a history book that black people came over on a transatlantic slave trade and we just accepted it. Why? Perhaps because then we would never have a claim to our land. You see what's going on in Palestine and Israel, how long this war has been being fought just on people claiming land. Perhaps that was a strategy that they figured out a little bit better than other countries, that, hey, if you convince them that they were never from here, then they'll always be lost and never have a claim to the actual land. Promise them 40 acres and a mule all you want, but they're never going to actually be able to do anything. They're never going to be able to claim this as their nation. I'm sure a lot of other people around the world look at us like, look at these silly Negroes. Look at these silly Negroes. When we see it's accepted that, let me ask y'all this. Why, BK, why is it accepted that Europeans occupied the land of Israel, where Israel is currently? Why is it accepted that there were Europeans in that region, right? The Holy Land. But then when you hear a Hebrew Israelite, those are the black people that dress in the purple and gold and they kind of look like Qs, but they're actually, you on mute. But yeah. There you go. Mm-hmm. But why do we believe one and look at the others as, they're crazy, they're ridiculous?
Yeah, can you give me a little more info? Because I don't really know what it is. I know what it is, but I don't know anything about it at all.
They believe that they're descendants of like the lost tribes of Israel. Okay. When people were scattered all throughout the country, they believe that they have an inheritance tie to that land, really no different than what Bibi Netanyahu believes he has a tie to the land. It's just that one group has power behind them and the other doesn't.
Okay. Same belief.
Yeah, it's different marketing. It's different marketing. People believe in the Bibi Netanyahu product, and even if they don't believe in the Bibi Netanyahu product, they know that they're too powerful for you to even have the courage to even say something against it. Mm-hmm. You're claiming that these people don't have the right to exist in this land. Like it's all this is all, man. People don't want to go down this rabbit hole. People don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Dang, we talked the whole time. Well, let's finish out this video and see where we go.
Okay.
Own it to.
Matter of fact, I think we're good on this video. Matter of fact, we'll finish it out.
The oppressive power structures that existed. That was the Jewish Pharisees. That was the Roman
we did finish
government.
it. We did finish it. My bad. We did finish it. Let me play you this clip. You tell me what you think, because we obviously not going to get into that Tucker video today. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. We'll figure that out. Let me get into this. So this is.
It's only 9:20. I feel like we've ran to 10:30 before.
We can get into it. All right. So let me pivot. Let me not play them what I was getting ready to play.
Okay.
And at least we'll get through a little bit of it. We'll get through whatever we get through. All right. So let me share this tab instead. So this is a series that Tucker Carlson did on Who is Thomas Crooks. This is the young man that allegedly, climbed on that roof in Butler, Pennsylvania, and took a shot at Donald Trump. And I say allegedly, well, he was found guilty of it, I believe, but you just can't believe these folk. You can't believe these folk. You just can't believe them. Once you find out that they're lying about one thing, it just becomes very hard to believe them. But let's go.
These are videos the FBI has worked hard to make sure you haven't seen. They're from the Google Drive account of Thomas Crooks, the man who on July 13th, 2024, showed up at the Butler County, Pennsylvania fairgrounds and tried to assassinate the frontrunner, Donald Trump.
And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
That day, Thomas Crooks came within a quarter inch of destroying this country. And yet, a year and a half later, we still know almost nothing about him or why he did it. That's because, for some reason, the FBI, even the current FBI, doesn't want us to know.
Watch out.
Since the start of their investigation, the FBI has claimed that Thomas Crooks acted alone and that he was a virtual ghost online with no presence at all. Their only substantive claim about Crooks' motive was that he was a right-winger. We learned that from FBI Deputy Director Paul Abate, who said this to Congress just 1 month after the attempted assassination.
Something just very recently uncovered that I want to share is a social media account which is believed to be associated with the shooter in about the 2019-2020 timeframe. There were over 700 comments posted from this account. Some of these comments, if ultimately attributable to the shooter, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes, to espouse political violence, and are described as extreme in nature.
The social media account Abate was describing was Crooks' YouTube comments. When the FBI made that claim, we had to take his word for it. We have no way to check, but now we do. In September, we obtained hundreds of comments from Thomas Crooks' YouTube account. Since then, we've gone to great lengths to verify that they're real. We can now confidently say they are. These are genuine, written by Thomas Crooks. But although Crooks' comments are interesting and give tremendous insight into why he did it, they're not the only story. The other story, in fact, the far more significant story, involves the government, the DOJ and the FBI, which have hidden from the public what they know about Thomas Crooks. The purpose of this report is to reveal details of Crooks' social media accounts and to confront a series of key questions. Why is the FBI keeping Crooks' views a secret? Why are they ignoring congressional subpoenas to divulge information? Why are they pretending that there's nothing to see here? And more than anything, what are they hiding? Before we present our findings, it's critical to establish how we obtained the comments and how we know they're real. In late September, we received a tip from a source. He told us he'd gained access to some of Thomas Crooks' accounts. He'd found these accounts by utilizing tools commonly used by private investigators. The key lead was Thomas Crooks' phone number. That was published in documents obtained by America First Legal. That phone number led our source to Thomas Crooks' primary email account, tmcrooks7@gmail.com. That in turn, he linked with more than a dozen other accounts. That list includes 2 foreign encrypted email accounts, AmericanGamer@gmx.com, a German website, and bcook@mailfence.com, a Belgian website. Crooks had a Snapchat, Tom_Crooks19, a Venmo account, Thomas-Crooks12, a PayPal account under the alias Rod Swanson, a Zelle registered as Thomas Crooks, as well as accounts on Discord, a Google Play account called Colossal Microwave, a Quizlet titled Thomas_Crooks, a chess.com with the same name, and 2 disabled Quora accounts under the handles Thomas Crooks8 and Thomas Crooks3. It turns out that Thomas Crooks was hardly an online ghost. He was active, and yet federal investigators lied and told us there was no trace of him online. Some of Crooks' accounts, like his Snapchat, appear to have been fully deactivated and completely taken out of use. Some of them may have been unused or cleared by federal officials during the investigation. We don't know because the FBI wouldn't tell us. However, our source was able to retrieve all data from Thomas Crooks' deactivated YouTube account, Tom Crooks 2178, visible to other users as Tom Crooks. This account includes his search history, his watch history, and 737 public comments. Another critical account, his Google Drive, is linked to an archive of Crooks' YouTube account. That's where our source obtained the videos of Crooks dry firing a handgun in his bedroom with paper targets on the wall behind him. But aside from the video evidence, the email addresses, and the phone number tying Crooks to the account, or the fact that most of these accounts use his actual name, there are other key details that support the authenticity of what we found. For example, this video's metadata shows it was filmed at Thomas Crooks' parents' home. And some of Crooks's YouTube comments are still available on Internet Archive sites. Crooks's YouTube channel was suspended on July 14th, 2024. That's the day after the shooting. Its offense, quote, violating YouTube's policy on violent criminal organizations. And though Crooks's comments are no longer available on YouTube, in many cases, the commenters who responded to Crooks are still there, and they match what we see on the Internet Archive sites. When you click on their tags of Crooks's accounts, YouTube takes you to a page that says, this channel was removed because it violated our community guidelines. In other words, there is ample evidence to support the authenticity of these posts. Our source figured it out. So did we. But when we reached out directly to the FBI to ask why the Bureau hadn't shared any details from the account with the public, the FBI responded by questioning whether we could verify the authenticity of the account. We were confused by this, considering the authenticity is self-evident. And of course, the FBI would have known that since the day of the shooting.
I want to pause it right there. I want to get your thoughts so far. And just from a standpoint of, Tucker is really making it his mission to expose and do a lot of what Donald Trump promised that he would do when it comes to draining the swamp, going against the establishment, putting the American people first in the government. What are your thoughts as far as when you have these type of shootings or these situations and they try to cover it up as soon as possible? They won't let you know anything about the alleged shooter, and they try to just, even from a standpoint of, you saw this in Charlie Kirk where the shooting happened. They paved over it, like just different things that they do. It's like, wouldn't you want to find out as much information as possible about this person? But why are you trying to hide it? Why aren't you sharing this with the public?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of, history. They say will always somehow repeat itself, but it reminds me of that revolution that happened in 1812 in Haiti, and how when they began slavery here in the Americas, they kept silence that there was a revolution in the Caribbean intentionally to avoid other groups or congregations of slaves thinking that they could do the same. And so as you kind of fast forward it, given that we're coming kind of from that lineage that's in our lineage, in our history, it seems as if it's just continuing to play itself out. If you go and show that these things are capable, and this stuff is live. So it's like when you have streaming TV or streaming phones, you can't like duck things off like they could play the game back in the day. And so what we see here is just people just honestly just trying to cover up a situation and, saying it was like the left or it was the right or it was he was, he lost his mind or he was crazy, or it's always like labeling, like giving it a label or categories so that people who may be on that type of time don't feel the need to be like, okay, let's turn this thing up. Let's light this thing on fire. So that's what I continue to kind of see, is just like it seems to always be a cover up intentionally, because there's fear that what has happened in other countries can happen here. And so I think where I am just in shambles is that even if this was a cover up, or no, not even if, when things like this happen, do you guys not sit down at a table and verify all pieces of a story if you're going to put one out to begin with? You just can't just, like when we're with Steve, and Steve is like, Brian, I've been in weapons and things like that majority of my for a long time. I'm telling you, that doesn't fit in that doesn't get that. And I'm like, why wouldn't y'all have everybody who is involved in this type of stuff sit at the table to come up with the lie so that it pans out? When you guys do it like this makes me even lose faith that y'all don't even lie properly. Like y'all don't even clean up the cap properly. And so now it's like at the point where we talked about at the beginning of this conversation, like y'all don't even care. Y'all don't even care to lie to us in a way that we possibly can be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, y'all doing it, the cover up be so bad. It's like, dog, y'all got to fire everyone and redo a mass hire of people go to Hollywood. Go to Hollywood and see if you can get some actors that can make this thing pan out. Because I'm noticing there's not a transition between politics and acting. One cannot become the other for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched Scandal and believe things in Scandal before I believe my actual politicians and people that are in charge. So it's just continuing to just dismantle things, make them look wild, crazy, so that the people don't get riled up and be turned. This is what this is, in my opinion.
Yeah. These situations, whether it's Thomas Crooks or a lot of these other people, it reminds me of, and the cover up, like you said, is so sloppy. It makes you look at previous situations a bit differently.
Yeah.
Where if you ever heard of MK Ultra?
Mm-hmm.
So MK Ultra was something that was exposed, and I just did like a quick little summary, but it was like an illegal CIA research program, and they were conducting like these mind control experiments on humans. And this is supposedly happened from around 1953 to 1973. And its goal was to, figure out how they can control the minds of people. So when I look at like a guy like Thomas Crooks, and I'm sitting here like, well, why are you not trying to, why are you going out of your way to sloppily cover up certain things about his life that if we just looked at it, we would probably see them as almost irrelevant, or we wouldn't be as curious if you just expose stuff as we are curious. Now, when I say as I'm talking about the people that actually will look into it, as we are curious with this sloppy cover up that you do. And even as I look at Thomas Crooks and a lot of these people that do these shootings where they're trying to create the narratives around them, it's almost as if they look like they're empty. Like they're not, I mean, somebody decides to kill somebody, that doesn't always mean that they're just like an empty soul, but they look soulless, like almost like they're being controlled. And then when you couple this with, let's say, the Charlie Kirk situation with Tyler Robinson, and you see all the things that Candace Owens is exposing, it's like, what is really going on here?
Like what is the objective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they have the film on the roof of what's the guy's name? Tyler Robinson, the one who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk. They got the film of him running across the roof, but you don't have any videos of him actually just doing
the cameras were out.
Yeah, like you don't have videos of him doing the shooting. You don't have any of these videos. So it just, and all of this stuff could be true. It could be 90% of the stuff that they're presenting to us to be true. I don't believe that that's it. And the other 10% is just so sloppy that it makes you question everything. So I don't know why they're doing this. Maybe they want people questioning stuff. Maybe they've determined that, based on the studies of humans, that if you have this population, being controlled, and if you have this population that's doing the questioning, this is the perfect ratio. I don't know why they're doing this stuff, but like you said, it seems very sloppy. It doesn't make any sense. And it's like they act as if there's no Tucker Carlsons out here or Candace Owens, people that can do their due diligence and research on their own and go on their YouTube page and just put it out for the world and embarrass the CIA and embarrass the FBI. I don't know.
Wow, it looks wild. The cover, Phyllis says, the cover up ends up to be worse than the crime. That's a bar.
Hold on? Isn't that what happened with? I'm about to sound very ignorant, but with Watergate, like,
you got something about that?
Wasn't it? Well, somebody in the chat, I believe it was more about. Hold on.
Yeah, Finn, I gotta get on it. BK, how have you not heard of MK?
Is it allowing you to highlight the comments to put them on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It doesn't when you click show on stream.
Yeah.
All right. I just wasn't sure. So I think this is the case with Nixon. Like, I think a certain aspect with Watergate was that he tried to cover it up. I think that was what he really got in trouble for, the fact that he tried to cover it up. So a lot of these things, these cover-ups, they are extremely sloppy. They do think that the people are so naive and dumb. But a lot of this is us putting these politicians on such a pedestal. How many times have we tried to cover up something? How many times do in your younger, ignorant days, you may cheat on your girlfriend or something like that, or cheat on your boyfriend. You think you can cover it up. You think that you can get away with doing certain things that come out so obviously and they're sloppy. When we put ourselves we put these politicians on such a pedestal that we think that they're just so much smarter than us. So obviously they're going to have more resources and they're going to be able to cover up these things. And look, the truth is going to come to light at one point or another. So you can try to cover it up as much as you want, but in my opinion, that eventually it's going to be exposed. Eventually there's going to be a Candace Owens, there's going to be a Tucker Carlson that has maybe connections and access to a lot of this information that the typical American would not have, and it's going to be put out there. It's going to be put out there. Let me, I'll keep it going.
What exactly is the FBI hiding? Here's what we do know. The digital comments we obtained were posted between 2019 and 2020, when Thomas Crooks was between 15 and 17 years old. They show two things. First, that Thomas Crooks was not some secretive lone wolf who never warned anyone that he was planning violence, just the opposite. Years before he showed up in Butler, Crooks was leaving a detailed digital trail of violent threats, including calls for assassinations and political violence. Second, they show a man who started out as a radical Trump supporter whose views on the president changed completely during COVID. The FBI lied about that fact and pretended that Crooks was a right-winger. At 11:35 p.m. on July 19th, 2019, in response to an MSNBC.
Hold on, what was that last part? He wasn't a right-winger?
He had switched. He started off as a Trump supporter. He started off as a staunch Trump supporter, talking crazy on YouTube and on all these social platforms. But then there was a certain point where, and he doesn't explain the pivot anywhere, where he just completely pivoted to then be against Trump.
Oh, okay.
So, and this is what now, the fact that they hide this stuff, if they would have just presented that, I don't think it would have been an issue, because a lot of us have pivoted our opinions on certain people. That's not an issue. But the fact that they hid it from us, to me, I'm gonna tell you where my mind goes. It goes to this MK Ultra. Like, did somebody get control of this dude and do some warped mind project on him and then get him to completely turn? Was he actually the one that was running his social media? Did he get taken into a back? It doesn't make any sense. And then when you look at the fact that they cremated him so quickly after the situation, it's like, are you trying to get to the bottom of this? Are you trying to get as much information as you can about why this person decided to shoot Donald Trump? Like, are you just content with the fact, oh, he was a lone wolf doing this? Or do you actually want to learn, like, what were his connections?
Wait, yeah, why wouldn't okay.
Like they were, I believe that they actually did know, they were aware of him before this situation happened. So you're just sitting here wondering, like, yeah, what, like, how did these people go about making these comments or being in these groups? And even with 9/11, they were following the people that flew the planes into the building.
They already knew what was up. Yeah,
they had surveillance on them for a lot, well before they actually did that.
Now tell me this: whatever happened to that Luigi guy?
Mangione, and I don't know. I guess he's going to go to trial because I believe he pled not guilty, unless I'm wrong. Somebody could tell me in the chat.
Okay,
but then, and I think people will end up forgetting about this stuff.
Yeah, I almost forgot that there was a dude that dropped somebody recently. I completely forgot. I forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah. And this was a back and forth as far as whether or not they should have cameras in the courtroom when it comes to the case against Tyler Robinson for assassinating Charlie Kirk. And Erica Kirk was like, my husband was killed in public. Why can't the the court be, why can't the proceedings, the trial be in public? So I'm happy that she's willing to put this or pushing to have it publicized, because with a lot of this stuff, we're not going to read. We're not going to read through the court transcripts and hear what was said and what wasn't. We're going to turn on the news, or we're going to turn on a podcast, and we're going to listen to people's interpretation who had their team probably read it, interpret it to them, and then they go on their podcast or they go on TV and present it in whatever interpretation they have of the situation. Very rarely do we do our due diligence and go read what's actually happening, whether it's the Diddy case or any other trial. So they can control a lot of this narrative by just not having, cameras in the courtroom. They don't want to O.J. Simpson this. They don't want to Trayvon this.
And what makes that choice? How is that determined? Because I remember when I watched that movie about New Orleans when the levees broke, they said that case was not public, and it was just like a quick trial, and then that doctor that was giving the people in that hospital the shots that end up killing them. Do you know anything? Did you hear about that story at all?
With my point, I was looking up whether or not how they decide as far as whether, But what was this? Remind me of the story.
But
the Katrina.
The Katrina joint. So basically, there was a few hospitals left behind, but I think there was one specific doctor or nurse who was basically injecting the patients that she felt like they weren't going to be able to get out of the hospital because they weren't sending any more help. She just gave them. She told them it was a shot to keep them calm, but it was a shot that just was going to kill them, and they end up dying. Right?
Wait, what? That's in that documentary?
Yeah. It's on. I want to say it's on Amazon.
Maya was watching it.
It's real good.
I was just watching it from afar, but I remember hearing some of the craziness in it.
Yeah. So it was something like something like that. But that particular situation was handled it wasn't an open case. It wasn't something that people could listen into or watch or anything. And so she ended up not getting convicted. But yeah, so I was wondering what determines whether or not it is open versus shut, open versus closed.
Yeah,
let's see.
I don't know. But as far as so this is what Google wrote regarding whether or not the trial is going to be televised depends on jurisdiction, state versus federal, the specific court's rules, and a judge's discretion. So whenever I see judge's discretion, I'm sure there's a lot that goes into that. I'm sure there's some political aspects to it. I'm sure there's a lot of factors that decide that. So,
Wow. Okay. Unc says, BK, what are you talking about during Hurricane Katrina? I'm not sure what you mean, Unc. Not sure what you mean on that. I was trying to see that was another case that I knew was that was also closed. So the Hurricane Katrina case with the hospitals or the doctors and the nurses was also a closed case also. So I was trying to see what determines when something is open, like a OJ, like Dak said, or when something's closed. But leave it in the comments what you weren't clear about.
Yeah, let me keep pushing it.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
FBI lied about that fact and pretended that Crooks was a right-winger. At 11:35 p.m. on July 19th, 2019, in response to an MSNBC video, Crooks wrote, quote, Ilhan Omar and others are invaders and should honestly be killed and their dead bodies sent back. At 1:17 a.m. on July 20th, 2019, Crooks commented on a CNN video. He said Donald Trump was the literal definition of patriotism. 7 hours later, he commented on an MSNBC video. He wrote, I hope a quick, painful death to all the deplorable immigrants and anti-Trump congresswomen who don't deserve anything this country has given them. That evening, on a separate MSNBC video, he wrote, quote, every one of the Trump-hating Democrats deserve to have their heads chopped off and put on stakes for the world to see what happens when you fuck with America. These sorts of comments continued for months and became increasingly violent. The following day, Crooks responded to a CBS Evening News video about the squad saying this, quote, this is going to be blatantly racist, but I hope Trump has these people murdered. Crooks openly called for dictatorship and putting, quote, Hispanics back in their place. He warned that if Democrats win in 2020, quote, they won't be in there for long because unlike the Dems, we have guns and lots of them. In one comment, Crooks noted that, quote, 50 million Americans with AR-15s will make quick work of any blockades the government can put in to protect the White House. He left multiple references to Mao Zedong's famous line, the only real political power comes from the barrel of a gun. On September 30th, 2019, Crooks responded to comments about a potential civil war, saying this, most rioters don't bring assault rifles and body armor like we would, and we wouldn't be going to the streets, we'd be going to Washington. At this point, one user named HyperPandas responded saying, quote, law enforcement will thank you for grouping up and being so visible. It'll make your arrest so much simpler. Crooks responded saying, cops can't arrest me if they're all dead, before adding, even an untrained man with an AR-15 is dangerous. You think Adam Lanza or any school shooter trained? Nope. If you navigate to that YouTube page today, you can still see identical contextual comments and people referring to Thomas Crooks, including one user who wrote this, you were on YouTube threatening to shoot government officials. I sure hope the FBI is monitoring social media for violent nutcases. That exchange is still available on Internet Archive websites. But the FBI didn't see that before the shooting? That's hard to believe. On various occasions, Crooks openly said things like, Mueller should be hanged along with the rest of the Democrats involved in that witch hunt, and I always believed being patriotic was lining up a bunch of socialist Jews, like the ones who booed Trump, and blasting their useless brains out with an AR. And yet, in early 2020, Crooks seemed to change radically. On January 23rd of that year, he referred to, quote, Trump's stupidity. He began to mock the concept of the deep state. He suggested it was a code word used by Trump.
Yeah, I just got an alert from YouTube. They're saying that the stream has been interrupted with copyright. Is the stream interrupted? You on mute, you on mute.
What does that even mean? Because it is?
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably going to just stop it. It may just, it's probably just more so because Tucker may have I'm sure he copyrighted it. So they'll detect it. So we may have to pivot off of that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll pivot off of it. Let's all right, let me
what I mean, yeah.
This is what we'll do, man. All right, we're gonna wrap it up anyway. But let me see if I can finish it up. So this is one thing that I wanted to play. This exchange, I think. So a lot of people been commenting on Donald Trump, who was pretty much pressed to having what is going on? My whole internet is out. Oh wait, no, I was about to say, hold on. I was like, what's going on? All right, let me share this real quick. So Donald Trump has been being pressed, I guess, to disavow Tucker Carlson, like a lot of the neoconservatives have been doing, whether it's Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, Josh Hammer, all these people that are upset with Tucker Carlson. Listen to what Trump says in regards to Tucker Carlson interviewing Nick Fuentes. I believe this is that one. Are we? All right, there we go. Where are we at?
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years. I think he's good. We've had some good interviews. I did an interview with him where we had 300 million hits. You know that. Look, I can't tell him. Will you let me finish my statement? You are the worst. You're with Bloomberg, right? You are the worst. I don't know why they even have you. We've had some great interviews with Tucker Carlson, but you can't tell him who to interview. Well, I found...
You can't tell him who to interview. Hold on. There was another clip. Hold on. I want to play the other clip because the other clip said you can't tell him who to interview. And I think Trump also added, let the people hear, let the people hear the message and let them do what they want with it. Let me see if I can find that. Donald Trump.
Yo, he is off the charts. He remind me of our coach in college.
Which one?
The head coach. Yeah, man. I ain't want to name drop, but he remind me of Cuz.
Hold on, I'm trying to find this clip because Nick was going off about this clip yesterday, like thanking Donald Trump. Let me see if I can hear it. Hopefully, this is the whole clip. Hold on. Oh yeah, I think this is the whole clip. This is the whole clip. All right, this is a better one. We'll play this one. Is it on the screen? All right, there we go.
What Tucker Carlson? What role do you think?
Oh,
Tucker
hold
Carlson
on.
could
They might have
play
frozen
in the
that.
Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward?
Well,
Really?
I found him to be good. I mean,
Yeah,
he
the
said good
comments
things about me
saying
over the years.
Dak BK, are
He's-
you aware your stream just
I
got
think-
suspended for policy violation? Dak, watch your back, feds. Dak BK.
Hold on. I'm gonna reload it. Are we back up?
I can hear you, but I don't know if the people can.
Let me go on the other account. Dang, they did us like that for. Okay.
BK.
Damn, Tucker.
Check the hat.
Nah, I think we on.
Oh, it says you were banned.
We're back up. Nah, they good. They can hear us. We good.
Okay. Alice Stokes says we can hear you. Everything good, y'all? Put a thumbs up in the chat.
Yeah. Give us a thumbs up in the chat, man. Ah! It says they cut you off for 3 to 4. Wow. All right, because I was looking at the numbers and I was like, yo, what's all right. It is. They're noticing us. Oh man, what did my dad told me? All right. Let's look at this. Let's look at this from Trump.
Mm-hmm.
This is I should have. That's my bad. I should have probably played that video. I just wanted to review it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I didn't know you couldn't play that one.
Yeah, they sometimes they give you issues with reviewing certain stuff. It used to happen with a lot of the political stuff, but the documentaries and stuff like that, because they think that you're not changing it enough to where the person who created it, you know, they want everybody to go to their page to see it, so you're not changing it enough for it to be considered a different video. I guess that's how they look at it.
But the Nick stuff flies though.
The what?
The Nick stuff flies.
Nick doesn't copyright his stuff.
It's a choice by the person.
Yeah.
He wants
Shout
his
out to
stuff
Nick.
going up.
Yeah, he wants his stuff going viral.
Okay.
You know, he doesn't. They do that because obviously, you know, Nick. If we post a Nick video, Nick doesn't get paid off of that, so that's why. But since Nick's not allowed on YouTube, I'm assuming that's why he
feeding the people.
Yeah, he just yeah. So I guess he just looks at his marketing. But let me let's put is it up on the screen? All right, bet.
What Tucker Carlson? What role do you think Tucker Carlson could play in the Republican Party and the conservative movement going forward?
Well, I found him to be good. I mean, he said good things about me over the years.
And real quick, it's just funny. Trump can't help but make it all about him.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we got 300 million views, right?
I think he's good. We've had some good interviews, but you can't tell him who to interview. I mean, if he wants to interview Nick Fuentes, I don't know much about him, but if he wants to do it, get the word out. Let him, you know, people have to decide. Ultimately, people have to decide.
You yourself at
That was the most Trump response that I've heard in a very long time. Like the most America first Trump mindset that, you know, a lot of the things that he's doing, I just see him going against the things that he used to or apparently stood on.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big thing that he just said. Like, that's huge. The fact that he wouldn't disavow Tucker. Right now, all the neoconservatives, anybody that's pro-Israel in politics, a Zionist, they seem to be the ones that are going at Tucker Carlson. And that's why a lot of these people are on the Republican side, and they're looking at this as a civil war issue with the Republicans, because this is not the Democrats coming at Tucker. They're going to highlight it, eat the popcorn, and try to just enjoy the fact that the Republicans are being split. But this is an internal fight. These are the people that were never Trumpers, the Ben Shapiros, the Lutnicks, all the people that couldn't stand Donald Trump, who he's now working very closely with. them going against the people that got Trump elected, in my opinion, the Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlsons, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Dave Smiths, all these people. And Trump could have easily just sat there and said, you know what Tucker's doing, I can't rock with. I don't think, there's some people that you should be interviewing, but others you can't interview a guy like Nick Fuentes. He didn't say any of that. He said, get the word out there, put it out there, put the conversation out there, and then let the people decide.
Yeah, he would it.
I appreciated that. And this is what now the Mark Levin, the Randy Fines that's going on stage at their Jewish Republican Coalition seminars, they can't get up there and say Tucker's not MAGA. They can't get up there and say that he's going against Donald Trump. Donald Trump doesn't feel that way. And if I was Donald Trump getting bullied by a lot of these people, which it seems like he is, I would actually be very appreciative of the fact that Tucker is working behind the scenes to expose a lot of this stuff, even if it makes me look bad to a certain point. So, yeah, let's keep going.
With Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago a few years ago, what role should he play in the conservative movement?
Well, I didn't know he was coming, and he was with, as you know, somebody, Kanye. And Kanye asked if he could have dinner, and he brought Nick. I didn't know Nick at the time. And he did. He came, and along with a few other people. He brought a few people with him. Meeting people, talking to people, like for somebody like Tucker, that's what they do. People are controversial. Some are, some aren't. I'm not controversial, so I like it that way.
Besides the self-size, you got to appreciate what he said.
Super size.
It's like, yo, you interview people that are controversial. It is what it is. He didn't say anything bad about Nick.
Yeah, he with it.
He didn't say anything bad about Nick because Trump still gets it, man. He knows that he's getting bullied into, when you've compromised your morals and what you said that you were going to stand on.
Yeah. The least he could do is let the door stay open at this point. Come on in. Because I can't do nothing in here, but y'all come on in.
And selfishly, it's like, all right, after I'm president, how am I going to remain relevant? I don't want all this stuff to go away.
Yeah.
You can read the room. Everybody sees what's happening, where the American people are going. And Donald Trump, this is what I said the other day, like Donald Trump, bro, don't go down as the last president who was the final straw to us getting bullied by Israel. Don't go down as the last president before somebody else came in and actually went against the establishment, actually went against these neocons, actually stood on what Donald Trump has been allegedly or saying he's been standing on, which is, I don't want to get into any wars. The Iraq war was stupid. All these forever wars are dumb. But now you're supporting Bibi Netanyahu and whatever is going to end up happening between Israel and Palestine and other countries in that region. Yemen, there's been other countries that we've been involved with. So it's I guess we finally got something to thank Trump for, even if we don't thank him, to be a little bit grateful of it.
Trump, Nick, and Ye having dinner is a wild dinner.
Trump, Donald Trump, Kanye, and Nick Fuentes.
That is a wild dinner, bro. I'm paying to see that dinner go live. They should have streamed that dinner, bro.
They should have streamed that.
Because that would have had all the viewers, and all the viewers we need to see would have been right there.
I wonder if they actually do film those and can put the dinners I wonder if somebody has to have that, right?
I don't think so. I don't think they.
You don't think Trump is filming at Mar-a-Lago? I think it was at Mar-a-Lago. I don't think it was at the White House, man.
Unless it was just on the cameras in the crib type shit, but like formal, like with videographers. I just don't really see that popping off. But that'd be so hard just to be like, I'm tapping into that Twitch.
Yeah.
I'm tapping into that stream to see those three. Like they're just so all different, but they all have still at the same time have similar beliefs in themselves that I gotta see these three have a convo over dinner.
What's funny is Nick talked about it.
Oh, really?
But he said that Kanye can be like to himself a lot, and he's very shy. And Even though like I think we see Kanye when he's pissed off and he just gets like that courage that comes with being pissed off from something, and then you just lash out. But Nick was saying at the dinner, Kanye wasn't really talking, so it was like awkward.
Like Nick was forced to do all the talking
because Kanye wouldn't say much, and it's also the dynamics of it. I think Kanye looks up to Trump a lot, and I think Nick looks up to Kanye a lot. So it was just and Trump, those are like Nick's guys. Kanye and Trump, those are like his heroes. So yeah, we gotta meet. Maybe we should do a dinner with them.
Yeah, Alice says no camera in that room. We all would literally know what's up going on. Would literally have a heart attack. Absolutely, I would lose my mind seeing those three sit down and vibe. Can you imagine like Ye just pulling out like a old school Walkman, like been like, hey y'all,
Trump, listen
to this real quick, and having Trump with the headphones like, oh yeah, I like that one. That one I like that one right there.
What do you think's next for Kanye? For Ye?
Well, apparently ain't he kind of backtracking? I saw the Breakfast Club speaking about he was just being apologetic about the comments, et cetera, et cetera. So it sounds.
We didn't play that. We'll play that tomorrow.
Yeah, it sound like he kind of backtracking. I was watching Breakfast Club. They saying like his finances must be getting tight, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't like Kanye. They don't like Ye. I love. They
don't like. They can't stand.
I love Ye.
Like Charlemagne hates Ye, and clearly they got some type of. I don't want to throw the word hate out there, but clearly they have energy. Bro, I spoke to Charlemagne about Kanye. And he was just like, you could just hear it in his voice. He's like, nah, I don't believe in him. Like all this other stuff. And when it comes to him, I feel like they always trying to throw that, or they'll always try to use money. It's like somebody could show, like, I don't really think Kanye's out here struggling for money. Kanye can put a drop out tomorrow
and be up.
He
is up.
Yeah, he is up.
He's never been down.
He's above all of this. And I think that has been illustrated in the last year or so, when even people who think he went too far with certain comments, they still supporting him. Like they still buy his shirt. Like
he one of those guys. Like he like Trump. Like certain guys that just don't lose that spot no matter what. Like he can't really, like he always gonna have. I think because we just kind of watched Ye grow up. You know what I mean? Like we've watched Ye since the graduation, since since for so much, and then but we also see what he is fighting and what he's arguing, and we just like look. I'm not saying he don't be off the rocker. I'm just saying I'm riding the same way y'all be riding for your mans in the White House. I'm riding for Ye, man.
And I tell you, even when we think about off the rocker. I think a lot of it is just him trying to. I think he's very clear on certain impacts that he wants to have on this world, and I don't think I think he's willing to use whatever tactic he feels may add to the solution. I think he's willing to use it. I also think that his personal experience with a lot of people has dictated how angry and how a lot of this stuff comes out. Because he is being attacked. Like, could you imagine all this stuff that we talk about when it comes to religion, when it comes to everything else, about people not being willing to speak out because you're going against such powerful people? Like, imagine what Kanye is getting back in return. They destroyed his personal life. They tried to take all of his money. Like, they tried to, they laughed at him, about his family. He's already pissed off because he probably is disappointed in himself for even dealing with a chick like Kim Kardashian. Kanye knows that he probably shouldn't have done, you know what I mean? I think he said certain things where it's like, he got caught up. He got caught up in it. He left his hometown girlfriend for a Kim Kardashian. Like he got caught up in the system, knows that he got caught up in the system. And I think now he's trying to push back against it. Yeah.
It's like it's like, remember, like he, at some point, like he says, I'm not cussing. I'm not talking about booties. I'm not talking about nothing. He just struck a straight gospel album because he's like, I'm not off none of that no more. Like, bro, you can't. I mean, obviously you can hate on that, but it's just like I just don't. I don't care.
However, he is going to be held accountable. Like the goofy stuff you're doing, like on the boats and stuff, getting like.
What are you doing?
Didn't he get like he had like some sexual act on a boat when they were on like the little river and something like I forget, somewhere in Europe where they have the rivers on the he got caught, and the way that he makes his wife dress and stuff like that with all the naked stuff, like that's weird to me.
Oh, she divorced him.
Oh, she did. Like Kanye has been a bit weird. Like I don't condone all the stuff that he does. But like you said, so what? There's a lot of people that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what I think about is, man, and I think about this a lot when it comes to these leaders, it makes me just miss Malcolm X, bro. I'm being honest. Like when it comes to if you study Malcolm X and understand how disciplined and how bought into his process that he was. Like he was bought into it. Like a lot of people don't look into the story of Malcolm X, how passionately he followed. Like he was disciplined. He actually believed in following the things that the elites or Elijah Muhammad was pushing. That's what caused their breakup in a lot of ways. Or that's what caused their breakup. It takes a lot when a leader is being attacked. I'm assuming it takes a lot to stand up, to not lose your mind, to stay focused, to stay on point, to stay on purpose. And a lot of people allow the emotions, because Kanye, it just seems like he allowed the emotions. It's a lot for him to handle. So therefore it comes out when he lashes out. But what you do is you give them now an excuse like, look, he's crazy. Yeah. It's like, bro, don't let them, like, you can't allow them to take over the movement by just being able to push, by able to highlight, look at Kanye, he's crazy. He said this, he said that. He's dressing up in a KKK uniform. It's like, bro, what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing? Like, snap out of it. Now we give him a lot of people will give him grace, especially Kanye fans, because I think a lot of people still believe that Kanye's doing it with a good intent. But bro, you're losing people. You're losing people, bro. It's bigger than just you. Yeah, it's bigger than Kanye.
I believe because he's so, like, he's an artist, he's a musician, he paints, he sings, he dances, he sings gospel. It's just like, I just know when you're dealing with these type of artistic people, status quo just doesn't apply to them. And obviously you're going to be held accountable for whatever you do. But for some reason, when whatever vessels he uses to communicate, I just allow him free range to do that, because like if I'm running late to the airport, I'm flipping out on niggas. So let alone be Kanye, and the world is on your gram, people texting you, you know, all the most important people in the world, everybody blowing your phone up. I can't have too many people call me at once for me to not spaz out. So being Ye is a hard job. And for the people who think that they can be Ye and take on all that stuff and keep it cool, calm, and collective, be my guest. But I do think even being in his role and position and taking on what he takes on a day-to-day basis, he's reached a point now where it's just like, I can't question anything per se as far as how he responds, because I know the weight is heavy. I know his spirit. I know, like, all that. At this point, I'm really just taking notes about how he responds versus making an opinion or a judgment on the response.
Nah, you can't though, because now you treating him like a god, bro. Now you idolize him.
No, not in the point of like what he does.
You can question him.
Yeah, I just enjoy seeing like this. We're talking about people that are like they're at Elvis status, Michael Jackson status. Yeah. Like, it's just interesting.
All of them can be questioned too. Like, everybody, nobody is above criticism, bro. And you like, this is my problem with religion in a lot of ways. Like, you only attribute the positive things to God if God's in control of everything. If you believe God's in control of everything, then you have to attribute some of the negative things to God as well. You can't just attribute all the positive stuff. Oh, God, when it worked out for you in a positive way, you thank God. oh, that's the devil when it's something negative that you don't like. So even with a Kanye, all these people, yes, they take on a certain role that is a big battle for them to face, but they have to be held accountable. They have to, because if not, then we're going to condone the behavior that they do, just like we condone a lot of the behavior that the pastors do, that the priests do, that the rappers do, that the politicians do. So it's like, we don't have to, we can understand and we can give full understanding to say, okay, Kanye's lashing out like this. I may not think he's a bad person, but I want him to stay focused on the actual plan, like stay focused on what you're trying to push, because you're going to lose people and you could end up influencing people in a real negative way.
Kind of like, you know what I mean? what's the Tesla guy? Kind of similar vibes, you know, like they be so wealthy, and then you saw him just like get into the office with Trump, and he be saying whatever he want and doing whatever he want. It's just like, this is kind of the first time in history where we're seeing people reach a certain level of they are in the rooms with the politicians, not because they're in politics.
Yeah.
Like their entry point is because of their success outside of it. Now they're in the conversations. Like, isn't that wild to think that you can get so rich that you can enter politics at the top?
I think that's
wild to think.
That's exactly what politics is, bro. Like, I know we don't see it like that because we're so accustomed to thinking that the president actually runs, like makes the final decision. All of these people are just pawns. They're puppets. So Elon Musk, absolutely. Money still makes the world go around, especially even more so in a capitalist country. You got a capitalist country. Of course, money's going to run everything. Of course, these people that are in office for 4 years, you don't think that when they get out, they want to live the same lives or better when they get out? All right, so I'll set you up. I'll set your son up, Hunter Biden with this consulting gig. I'll set up, Donald Trump's sons, they got some work in Qatar. Yeah, we're going to set that. You know what I mean? Like, that's all this stuff is. We think that these people are in politics for the greater good of America, when in all actuality, you're just in politics to advance your personal interests, just like the majority of us move through life. We don't go to work saying like, you know what, I'm just going to help elevate society. I want to make, America a better place. No, you go to work because you want to put food on the table. You want to buy a nice car. You want a nice house. You want all these things. These people are just as selfish. We only get confused when we put them on a pedestal. And the more successful somebody is, the more critical they should be. You know what I mean? The more critical we got to be of these people. Not to say that we got to cancel them, but perhaps Kanye needs some of us to check him, and he'll see these comments like, hey, bro, you bugging. You know what I'm saying? Reel it in a little bit. You got to reel it in, because you're losing. You're not above the movement. Kanye's not above the movement, just like Trump's not above the movement, which is why I'm glad that a lot of people are speaking out against Trump. You know what I'm saying? Because we idolize, like when we idolize Trump, there's a whole lot of people that idolize Trump that claim that they voted for him for certain reasons. He's clearly not doing any of those things, but they just adjust and rationalize based on them being a fan of him.
That's true. I'm even thinking, like, you think about like the Taylor Swift. You remember back in when Kamala was racing, Taylor Swift was very involved in the politics.
Yeah.
And then now, she's engaged to Travis Kelce, who is huge fans of Trump. Because who's huge fans of Trump. And then
I
now
didn't know he was a big fan of Trump.
I don't know how outward he is with it, but him, Travis Kelce and Taylor kick it with the quarterback for the Chiefs. Mahomes, big Trump people.
Yeah, I know Mahomes is. Yeah,
so
I know,
they always vibe and they always collect. And then now you see that she's taking a completely quiet stance to anything politics wise. But it's so funny to me because it's like, oh, damn, that was some real pawn behavior, because you kicking it with Cuz, who clearly on that type of time, but then you was running a whole campaign to try to get voters to. It's like, I'm not respecting that. I'm not rocking with that.
It's just business. That's how they look at it. It's just business. It's our goofy asses that fall for this stuff. Like, why anybody's listening to Taylor Swift about who they should vote for. Like, who's really the fool? Like, I'm not even upset with her to that point, because if you're silly enough to get caught up in looking at who Taylor Swift is voting for and you making a decision based on that, then that's on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know they can see you playing with it.
Oh, really? Oh, snap. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, these are so interesting.
Yeah, I see you over there playing with them. I'm like, yo.
I didn't know they could see that.
Nah, you good. Let's wrap this up. Let's actually.
Okay.
You wanna run people through the breathing, box breathing, or you want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it. I ain't learned it yet.
So very quickly, we're gonna wrap this up. Appreciate y'all as always. But let's definitely hit the like button. I know we ran a lot over today, but it is what it is. Good conversations. Appreciate y'all staying with us. Let's do our breath exercise, which is our box breathing, which is a 4-second inhale in which we're inhaling all the positive energy. We're going to do a 4-second hold, and then we're going to 4-second exhale, releasing all the negative energy. One more hold, and then we're going to go through that 4 times. So if you're in a safe place, close your eyes. Let's kind of do this is the reset. You know, when we talk about a lot of these heavy topics and we're going back and forth, even in the comments, I meant to say this earlier. I think who was going back and forth? I saw Dutch and I think it was Dutch and Critical Thinking going back and forth.
I've seen them going back.
This is what we're supposed to do, but we just keep it respectful. We have to have these conversations. You know what I mean? This is the place where we can go to have these conversations, and by the end of the show, we dust it off, we come together, and you know we're back here tomorrow engaging in a lot of these conversations. So let's just do our breath work, and hopefully that can serve as a reset for all of us, so we can make sure that we're going through the rest of the day without some of this heavy energy, but we can keep the main things, because all this stuff we may talk about with a 9 to 5 and why you're not in Palestine helping the Palestinians. Make sure that you take your behind the work. Make sure that you're on point. And until you have a different situation that can make sense for you, let's just keep the main thing, like BK always says. So let's start. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes. We're going to do a 4-second inhale. Ready, begin. Stop. Pause. Hold your breath. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. And on this next inhale, get as much positive energy as you can on this last series. Ready? Inhale. Feel the positive energy coming through your system. Feel it. Hold. All right, on this exhale, we're going to release the last remaining bit of that negative energy. Ready, go. Hold. All right, nice little reset. All right, y'all know what it is. Y'all know we come here to do, elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, raising our standards to become the best leaders we can become that are needed now more than ever, as well as pushing ourselves by raising our standards to grow into the people we need to grow into in order to accomplish these audacious goals as we set out on this purposeful mission to make an impact on this world that we like to call our personal legend. Let's keep a few things in mind. Of course, strength and honor. We keep everything onward and on the upward, making sure that we're focusing on certain things that are going to align with us having the most efficient trajectory in order to complete our task. So in order to do so, we got to be clear on the things that we're focusing on. So the things that I like to focus on, well, that's what we call in our bag. So the things that I like to focus on: peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity. And of course, we got to always add that balance to the table. So BK, I'll let you finish us off. And then I'm sure we'll get some wise words from Unc and perhaps Steve on here or anybody else that's giving us some positive light to finish off the show.
Yeah, great convo today. I think you might have got a new viewer that asked what time um we're usually on stream. So we not gaming 9949. We usually start at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday. Um just so you know. So subscribe and set your notifications. But great discussion today. I think we've hit a lot of very important topics, very heavy topics, conversations that, I think for a lot of people may not have even seen this type of dialogue in 4K like this. So I think it's important to just allow your mind and your emotions and your feelings to continue to find new pathways and passages, and continue to allow yourself to hear and feel different things. So today we hit a lot of topics that I think were important for just humanity as a whole. I think at the end of the day, we always get down to the core root of everything for us is just being able to just be a good person at the end of the day. So if you can at some point today help somebody, send somebody a positive message, encourage somebody, step outside your comfort zone and try to make somebody's day. You never know what it could do to us, and that's ultimately what we're here to do is share love. So we enjoyed the conversation with you all, and we look forward to speaking tomorrow bright and early with your cup of coffee, ready to get involved.
And today is Giving Tuesday. We're gonna come on here and beg y'all for some money for our foundation, but we're gonna hold off until we can give y'all some more information on it. But stay tuned. As BK was saying, give something. It doesn't have to be money. Give. What are the things that we can give? How can we pour into our community, our village and our tribe? So my fault, BK. I didn't mean to. You inspired me. You inspired me.
Yeah. I mean, Thanksgiving is next week. Yeah. So get it rolling. Start giving ready. start
That's the energy.
Ready.
And that is the beautiful thing about the holidays. And I want us to always keep in mind whenever we're having these conversations, we're critical of the player, not the person. You know what I mean? This is something that BK and I had to learn when it comes to sports, because you're getting criticized every single day. Every single play you're getting criticized on is something. You can work on this. You can think that you had the perfect rep, but you need to work on this. We're criticizing the player, not the person. So when it comes to whether it's Israel, when it comes to religion, when it comes to all these topics, the criticisms are based on us getting into a position to where we can get closer to that greater peace, humanity living in harmony. That's the goal of us, to just be good people and to bring positivity to the world, because we all will be like imagine that would be a utopia. It's almost to the point where we can't even imagine it, because we got all the BS that we're typically drowned out by. So we can't stay positive. But everything that we discuss, everything that we show on this show, with us being able to exchange ideas in a peaceful manner, this is available for us all. So hopefully we can just compound this energy and spread it as best we can, and all just play our part. So Finn wrote, "Let your strength be proven not in domination, but discipline, and let your honor be the standard by which you measure every action. For a life guided by principle fears no judgment, not even its own." I'm gonna read that again. "Let your strength be proven not in domination, but discipline, and let your honor and the standard by which you measure every action. For a life guided by principle fears no judgment, not even its own." That's dope. That's a dope takeaway. Condor said, "Great show. We showing Finn some love. Shout out to Phyllis. Phyllis always in the building." We didn't get to read a lot of Phyllis's comments. Phyllis, we got you. We always appreciate you. So we'll make sure that we're highlighting you tomorrow. Finn wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Marcus Aurelius keeps coming up. I was just talking to my dad about him. So yeah, we'll keep it pushing. We'll keep it pushing. Yo, shout out to Conjure, man.
Oh, shout out to Conjure, man. Appreciate it. He always showing love, all of y'all, but appreciate that, Conjure, for sure.
Yeah. Let's keep building. Let's keep building it. Any of y'all, just so y'all are aware, this is an open forum. So a lot of it, I need to do better about, and hopefully BK can help with this as well, about getting more people on the panel, getting more, people up here to share our opinions and views. So if anybody wants to, ever just tap in, even if it's in the middle of the show, you want to jump on, we trust y'all, especially, y'all come on here every day. We appreciate you giving your time and energy. If you want to just cam up, ask questions, even if you're not responding to everything, feel free. That's what we want this to be. So appreciate y'all. I guess that's what we'll end with.
Oh, shout out to Anya with the doubles clap.
Yeah, shout out to
MJ.
AMJ. All right, so we'll see y'all tomorrow, 8 a.m.
Peace.
Ew.